And here's the thing, if your goal doesn't make your heart sing, it's not a goal. Because the first time something goes wrong, you're going to say, well, you know, I did my best. I did the best I could to get my goal. I want you to think of it this way. A small goal has very small power. It's tiny, and everything else can eclipse it. When you have a big goal, so big you can't contain yourself with excitement, it will be bigger than any doubt, any distraction, any disappointment, anything that can possibly happen to you. I have a goal which I'd like to share with you, because what I've discovered is if I share where I'm coming from, it makes it easier for you to tell me. And I wish that we could ask every single person in this room right now, what is it that would absolutely change your life? My goal, to fulfill my dream, there is one time in your life when your children need you just that little bit less. And for me, it was when my children met the person that they were going to spend the rest of their lives with. So when my children were married, I said to my husband, I'm leaving home. And he said, fine, then I'm coming with you. So we arrived here in the United States of America to fulfill our dream to write for this industry and to speak at this industry. And I worked out how to get my kids to keep loving me. I made sure I was less than an hour's drive from Disneyland. But we arrived here, and to do that, it means I get to see my children 3, 4, 5 times a year, and they're quite a distance away. My job is fabulous. To work with Sensi and to be invited back after 2 years, it's absolutely fantastic. To meet you, to work with you, absolutely fantastic. To see my books being published, I love it. But the price I pay is missing my children. And it's not when I'm here at these big conventions I need to think about it. It's when I'm on a plane making a long journey, when I'm in a hotel room late at night on my own, when I'm in a taxi, when I'm sitting on the tarmac for 2 hours because the flight has been delayed. All I have to do to remind myself why I'm doing this is every single year I pick a destination and I fly all my children together so we can be together. And I only, thank you. I only have to imagine myself at Los Angeles Airport, at LAX, and imagine my little children, and my family is growing. Imagine my little kids just running through immigration, just at me like this. I only have to think about that. I could move mountains. Because that's my goal that I can bring, and my children too, but my little grandchildren, my little babies, just the sight of them coming out like this, it just brings tears to my eyes. And that's what keeps me going. That's what I do every year. My number one goal is, what are we going to do together as a family and be together and make that time special? So I want you to dig into your heart a little. What is it that would really make a difference? I have people say to me that they have a dream one day that they would love to have a house on the shores of Lake Tahoe. But right now, they're barely paying the bills for their own family, or they're in credit card debt. So if you have what I like to call a dream, which is something that's going to happen in the future, it is just a dream. And by all means, I'm sure you've been told to create dream boards and hold those dreams alive. But there's a problem with big dreams. And that is, if they seem a little bit too far in the distance, can you see, it's easy to say, well, it won't matter it's not going to matter what I do today, because I've got years to realize that dream. So a dream is in the future. The way I define a goal, it has to be now. It has to be immediate. It has to be something that you can achieve in the next year. And I want to share with you some of the goals that have absolutely touched my heart that I get shared, and I'm lucky enough that people talk to me about what their goals are. I met, her name was Kelsey, and I met her at Arizona at a leaders workshop. And I went around, it was a small group, and I was able to go around to everybody and say, what is it your goal? What is it you want to achieve? And the first thing she said, well, I'd just like to have enough money to pay all the bills and, spend some time with my kids, and I'm really keen on becoming a director. And everybody in the room was kind of flat, and I noticed her eyes were flat. So I let everybody share their goal, and all that was happening is that everybody was waiting for the person before them to stop speaking so they could share their goal. There was no energy. So I said, I want to stop this. That's enough. I want to revisit these goals. I want to know what you really, really want to achieve this year. And if it doesn't feel something that you can actually feel your pulse speed up, if you don't feel your heart racing, then I don't want to hear about it. So Kelsey said, well, my goal, I was too embarrassed to share it, my goal is teeth. And people are thinking, wow, teeth. And it wasn't even Los Angeles. This was Arizona. My goal is teeth. So tell us about it. And she said, well, here's the thing. I met my husband when we were at school, and I was attracted to him because I thought he was very mysterious. But she said, I got to know him. He was the nicest guy you could ever imagine. But he never smiled. And when we graduated college, she said, there he is. I'm beaming with pride, and he's being deep and serious. She said, he wasn't smiling on my wedding day. She said, there we are. I'm beaming bride, and he's standing there cutting this pose that's no smile. And I'm sure you worked out what it is. She said he is totally, absolutely ashamed of his teeth. And he never, ever opens his mouth. He's the best husband in the world. We have 4 children. He had a trucking business. He brings enough money home to support the whole family. But every dollar he brings somehow just gets absorbed into the house and the kids. Who knows that scenario? No matter how much you earn, it just... She said, so what I'm going to do, it's going to be $20,000. I am going to save enough money from my business this year that at Christmas, I am going to say to him, here is the check. It is not to be spent one thing on the house, one thing on the children. This is for your teeth. And when she's saying it, you can see the emotion and the passion and the love in her eyes, and everybody else is going, oh, I love that. And I had another girl that shared a goal that, again, when at first sight, she didn't really want to say it. But she said, my goal is a cow. And that's not what you expect to hear at a workshop. My goal is a cow. But I wanted to hear the story because all of a sudden I'm interested. She said, well, here's the thing. I grew up on a very small farm, but my parents kept 2 cows in a paddock right outside our house. Every single morning of my life, I woke up and I looked out my window and I saw the cows. When I got married, we moved closer to town. We have a great house. Every single morning when I wake up and open the curtains, I look out at my neighbor's fence. And she said, I just absolutely miss looking out and seeing that beautiful green land and the cows. So she said, what I do is I actually say to my son, Mommy's going to buy you a cow one day. And his son's, what? You know, really? Rather have a PlayStation. But anyway, her dream was to save up enough money to put a deposit, and it was only $10,000 to put a deposit on a piece of land further out of town, and every year she was going to pay money off that land so they could have that house, they could build that dream home. And I thought that was such an amazing, wonderful goal. So let me define with you the difference between a dream and a goal and a strategy. A dream is in the future. A goal is immediate. If you can't see it, it's a dream. If you can't see it, touch it, taste it, almost there, it's a dream. A goal is immediate. A strategy is, I'm going to become a director next year.